Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. We open on a maximum security prison planet run by the nameless Commander Smolder. A space terrorist has been captured and waits on death row to be executed, but the smoky-eyed Cole is more of a squinter. The commander beats on him like a red-headed stepchild because the side wearing the space bibs work for an evil tyrant. The guy about to cry on the floor is actually a resistance leader and is brought out of his cell to await his untimely execution. He makes this weak attempt to escape, but Mustache has a good grip on that wrist, so Cole just stands there and watches his friend go first.
I'm keeping this seat warm for you.
The executioner is introduced boobs first because Tara forgot the rest of her uniform and prepares to flip the switch on literally anybody and everybody. A dapper-dressed space priest named Lund says that what she's doing here is inhumane, but Tara says cram it Gramps, go bother somebody else.
All clear.
The somebody is Commander Haircut, but the diplomat is barking up the wrong tree because this guy's rock hard for a little sadism. His exposed girlfriend receives the order to erase prisoner 485 and Cole watches horrified as his friend gets vaporized. Seeing this is enough motivation to pull away a bit harder this time, and the rebel leader electrocutes Mustache while stealing his gun. He knocks out the rookie, then straight up executes him before having a shootout with the rest of the guards in an intergalactic prison break. Fortunately, they were all hired from the same school for the vision impaired, so Cole doesn't even take cover and just laser blasts everybody while standing on the same square footing of walkway. While wandering around without much haste, Cole comes up behind one guy with his brown paper bag of death and shoves it in his face. Don't ask me how he had this thing in prison, but it contains man-eating space bugs that waste a lot of time killing just one guard. Cole then steals a spaceship because somebody left the keys in the ignition and escapes the planet because Officer Mustache fried the security system. Sergeant Major takes the failure personally, but soon cheers up when the commander tells him to unleash the muscle Barbie.
Alright.
A bodybuilding fembot in a bikini made from auto parts and a parking cone for a laser gun called the Alienator pursues the fugitive. She follows him all the way to Earth, where Cole crash lands in a game reserve and hops out of a forced perspective of his model ship. He flees into the forest while nearby Rick is driving around in his RV chugging beers with his girlfriend Orrie, who wonders where she went wrong. In the back of the Winnie is their two friends Caroline and the obligatory nerd Benny, but nobody explains why the hell they're out in the woods. They witness Cole's spaceship crash, so decide to check it out, but just end up running humanity's first contact over, which is usually how it happens. The kids think about "I know what you did last summer," but decide to take him to the ranger station instead because they aren't complete psychos. Nearby, two hillbillies named Harley and Bert are wandering around the reserve doing some illegal hunting and stealing rabbit traps. The game warden Ward says, "Don't you know it's a crime to touch another man's trap?" and there's a long conversation about nothing that goes nowhere. Beavis and Butthead leave while Warden Ward brings his dinner back to the station, where the 30-year-old kids in the RV soon arrive. Rick is immediately claiming innocence by saying he has witnesses to testify that the crazy guy jumped out in front of him. He isn't looking too hot, so Warden Ward has them bring him inside the station, where he calls the local Dr. Burnside for assistance. The man is a raging alcoholic, so he tells Ward that he'll be around in about half an hour despite living only 4 minutes away. When Cole wakes up, he tells his rescuers about being an extraterrestrial fugitive and that his captors will send the Amazon Prime assassin to kill them all. Just then the power goes out, heralding the arrival of the Alienator, who steps out of her superimposed spaceship to go out on swole patrol. Using the collar around Cole's neck, the team back on Planet Prison are able to tell their Powerpuff Girl the exact location of the game warden's cabin. We show the space crew a few times, but it's mostly just Commander Cool feeling up the executioner while the priest watches from a corner. They continue to monitor the Alienator as she comes into contact with the doctor when he arrives at the cabin, but laser blasts him for drink driving. Some joker thought it would be clever to call this man who burns to death Dr. Burnside, but it's better than Warden Ward, I suppose. Eventually Harley and Bert stumble across the scene, but just assume the doctor drank so much that he spontaneously combusted as they do. During this time, Cole pulls some crazy pain faces and warns the group that they should run away, but everyone just thinks he's fruity for loops. Benny believes his story, but Rick is about ready to shotgun this man in the face for being injured or something, so he has the gun taken off him. When the Alienator arrives, the power goes funny, so Ward goes to check on it with the expendable Benny because he needs a human shield. They see the Ultimate Warrior standing in the shadows, so try communicate, but somebody went and gave reckless Rick the damn shotgun back. Cole convinces him to shoot first, but the Terminatrix is bulletproof, so now everybody is welcome to some green plasma to the face. The humans flee out the back door while the fembot of Flex disintegrates the front and enters the house. Mechanical Jubblies first. While she's destroying everything that Warden Ward worked for, the group hide in the woods with Cole, who always looks like he's on the verge of death. The leader tells the kids to run ahead while he sets a bear trap and waits to ambush whatever comes walking around that bend. Unfortunately, it's Bert and Harley on their way home, but luckily the trap was made out of tinfoil because the former is unharmed. Suddenly her royal thickness emerges from the tree line and has a shootout with the bumpkins, but she tanks their bullets and disintegrates them both. She chases Ward into a tiny shack, but fortunately the space lasers can destroy entire trucks but aren't able to penetrate rusty corrugated iron. This little shed is so impenetrable that it causes Buff Barbie's gun to malfunction, so she looks inside it like a rock got stuck in her shoe. Speaking of shoes, she also lets Ward get away to take hers off because she stepped in a spike trap that some idiot built. The She-Hulk has a set of hoofs to go along with the horse's mane and an encyclopedia of Earth knowledge built into her chromium forehead. She scans a deer to determine Bambi isn't worth shooting in the face, then shows emotion, implying there's an artificial intelligence behind those glutes. Meanwhile, the group come across the wacky Vietnam vet Colonel Coburn, who is happy to help because he just wants to shoot something. His cabin contains an arsenal of guns including sniper rifles and an AK-47 that he took off a dead Charlie back in Da Nang.
Just as long as she bleeds.
This madman shoots off Cole's collar, so he reacts with this goofy smile, then pulls out what appears to be the prototype landmine. Once her happy muscle has been satiated, the protein princess continues her mission until coming across Colonel Crazy and Warden Ward. They planted the landmine, but the damn thing is a dud, so she just steps on it and orders the humans to release the fugitive or die. Sounds reasonable, but Colonel Crackshot shoots the explosive with a single bullet fired from an AK at 100 yards away. Benny is inside the cabin having the best night of his life, but Quadzilla just squats off the explosive and possibly leaps onto the roof. The group just hear a noise on it, so everybody runs outside into the darkness and splits up because they're apparently a bunch of geniuses. Rick the Hick comes across the bubbly beast of a woman first, but she takes about as long to strangle him as a regular human would. Just then Warden and Colonel tag team her from both ends with a crossfire of bullets, allowing Ricky to escape while she inaccurately fires back. Big Brain Benny uses chicken wire to create a perpendicular magnetic pole and siphon the Fembot's electrons in alignment with the Earth's axis. That's a nerdy board writer's way of saying short circuit the machine, while the Colonel randomly reminisces about frying commies back on Pork Chop Hill. They throw the 5'8" 200-pound Fembot in the back of his truck, but I wouldn't be leaving Colonel Creepy alone with any hardware.
I'd like to get a closer look at that.
During this time, Ricky was killed by Cole, who then shapeshifts into him with a power that would have come in handy back on Planet Prison. The dead dude's own girlfriend doesn't even notice a difference in his attitude until he tries to force himself on her and some slight suspicion is aroused. Ward tries to save Orrie, but Cole shoots him in the arm, then opens fire on the whole group. Fortunately, his accuracy sucks. Benny the Bullet Dodger charges at the shapeshifter and would definitely be getting laid tonight if he wasn't on the losing end of every consecutive follow-up strike. There's nothing but bad times to be had for this kid whose so-called friends just stand around and would probably be pulling out cameras if they had any. Fortunately, Benny's swole mate reactivates just in time to save him and uses an axe to chop off Ricky's head and expel the coal demon. The Flexorcist then confirms her kill and disintegrates it before rewarding the humans with some sack of space crystals for whatever reason. Large and in charge then jumps back into her spaceship and returns to Planet Prison, where Lund is revealed to be a traitor. Upon hearing that Cole was assassinated, he says that the rebel leader was his only son, then whips out a friggin' lightsaber into the Major General's face. He struggles for control of it with the popped collar commander, who punches straight through Lund because he was apparently made out of pudding. Tara hid behind a console the moment a Disney lawsuit got pulled out, but returns to switch her man back to smolder mode and continue being evil. The final scene shows the survivors mourning the loss of Rick, but Colonel Casanova can't stop thinking about the Flexi lady. They go outside to watch her ship leave while he talks about the Fembot's flex appeal enough to make a motherboard blush.
It's one hell of a woman, on any planet.
And the movie ends.